it's Lyndall Pinchin, Canine Naturopath from Canine Vitality. Welcome back to Happy Healthy Dogs. Now this week something a little bit different. I'm with the lovely Jan Lindsay. Now Jan is a long-term client of mine and a beautiful lady. She actually owns 4 amazing golden retrievers. And today I wanted to do a little story on one of these babies whose name is Crosby. He's mulling around here somewhere. Sure where.
Sleeping over the back, I think.
Sleeping over the back. Good on him. So welcome, Jan. Thank you so much for giving up your time today. So firstly, Jan, just tell me a little bit about why you love golden retrievers so much.
We got our first golden over 30 years ago. Yes, wow. I sound very old. And once you've had a golden, there is no other breed, unfortunately. No.
Sorry to everyone else out there.
Seriously, I love each and every dog I meet, mainly. But yeah, they just ticked all the boxes for us. They've just got the most beautiful personality. And yes, we can even deal with the fur issues.
Yeah, which of course there's a lot of hair with the golden retriever.
365 days a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, and over the years we've just getting more goldies.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Great. Now Jan, I met you through an organisation known as GARA, Golden Arc Rescue for Golden Retriever Rescue Group, and that was about 5 or 6 years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 6 years ago.
Tell me what you were doing with GARA. What was your role then?
Well, Rob and I became foster carers for Golden Arc, and we had our 2 original dogs. Oki was just 1 year old, and Ruben was about 6 at that stage, and we felt it would be good for them to mix with other dogs. And we have a reasonably large property and the dam for swimming, so we thought we could bring another little soul into our house. So we embarked on our it was about 2 years of foster caring with Golden Arc.
Yeah.
So
excellent. And my role back then, guys, was I was actually doing a little bit of naturopathic consulting for GARA. The lady who ran the group, her name was Samara, and she would actually get me to come and have a look at some of the dogs and help out with things like diet and holistic, herbs and so forth. As you can understand, with a rescue, the majority of these dogs would come in with all sorts of, in terrible conditions, neglectful conditions. Their skin problems were one of the big things, because of course many of you with golden retrievers know that they're susceptible to skin issues. And such was the case with a dog named Crosby that we're going to talk about today. Now, Crosby came into GARA around about, they think about the age of, I think we said 7. 7. Now, when I remember Sam calling me about this dog on this particular day, she said, you need to come and have a look at this dog, Lyndall. And so as I only lived a couple of minutes from Sam, popped in my car and over I went. Crosby was one of the worst dogs I'd seen in Sam's care. When he first came in, and he'd only been in there a couple of days when I saw him, he virtually had no fur from about the middle of his back down, isn't that right?
Yes.
He was in a terrible state. I'm going to cross to Jan now, because she can tell you a little bit more about how Crosby was, because she was taking care of him. But from my perspective, he just had a terrible yeast problem going on with his skin, which had left him to lose a lot of hair, chew a lot of that hair off, and a lot of other things going on. So Jan, what did you find when you first met Crosby, the state he was in?
Luckily we got to meet Crosby sometime after, because he was placed, because Samara knew he was going to need long-term care before he would become available for adoption. He was placed within a lovely family of Sue, her husband, and 2 young children, which is such a credit to them, because it was quite confronting, because I saw the photos originally, and there was that awful elephant type blackened skin. To this day it sends a shiver down me, because he was in such a bad state. So he was in their care for probably, I think, about 4 months, and then when he was due for rehoming, he had such major teeth problems because of the flea allergy. He had wrecked his canines were sheared off at a disastrous angle. His top and bottom teeth were pretty much non-existent, and we felt because he may have required quite major surgery on those teeth, we felt we could take him on with the potential costs involved in that. Fortunately, that hasn't had to happen, and he is just the most divine animal. I'm not sure what more could have been expected of the dog, to have been basically thrown out on the street. That's the story we had. He was living on the streets of Logan by himself, foraging for food, and unfortunately that is locked into his brain even to this day. But he has got the most beautiful personality, just adores people, even over dogs. He gets on well with all of our dogs, but given the chance, he will be by your side 24/7. So yes, so we've had him for about 5 years now, and he's just gone from strength to strength.
Yeah. He has indeed. You know, I remember when I first started to work with him, and I knew that we had a really big road ahead of us with this dog. He obviously he'd had all his conventional vet checks and so forth, which were mandatory, but Sam was adamant that we were going to heal this dog naturally, and of course I was too. And that's where it was so great working with Jan, because she took on board everything that I sort of recommended for Crosby, and it did take quite a long time, didn't it, Jan, to get him, not just even to get healing, but also to gain his trust again, and to get him emotionally a little bit more, stable. We went through, he was put onto a raw diet. He went through a fairly heavy detox process, a lot of nutrients to try and build the skin, and to, of course, get rid of the yeast problem that he had, which was a severe chronic yeast issue. A lot of herbs he went through. That dog's probably consumed more herbs than most. But over time, and I think we're talking sort of really realistically 6 to 12 months with this dog, over time, and Jan's absolute just commitment to the treatment, we saw the results, and he just started to get better and better and better. So Jan, I want to ask you, because really in these situations it could have gone either way in terms of how this dog could have been treated. He could have just been treated through the vets conventionally, and they do a fantastic job, of course, but fortunately Sam was more of the holistic mindset, and that's the road that we went down. What do you really like about the whole natural medicine thing?
Well, we had prior experience before we even started fostering. We had a severely epileptic dog, and we had tried the conventional vet treatments, but it changed him into a dog that we didn't know, because he was so drugged to suppress the seizures, but he had no quality of life. And I knew at that point I had to go off into a totally different direction, and luckily I came across holistic vets, Henry Stevenson, who you're familiar with, and he treated our dog for 5 years. We've got 5 more years of the dog that we knew, and unfortunately it did shorten his life, and we did have to, the seizures, we did have to euthanize him, but we gave him quality life for that period of time. So I had a belief in natural therapies at that stage. I think unless you come across problems with your dog, it's hard to convert to natural therapies like natural heartworm or worming products, because you seemingly are ticking along fine, and you think, well, why do I need to divert from my normal veterinary practices? And as you say, look, I have huge respect for our vets, but I have my conventional vet that I have been going to for 30 years. I also have a holistic vet because she does titer testing for Crosby through a program that we're involved with, and I also work with you. So I figure owners know their dogs best, and you just need to seek out the professional that you need for whatever case you're working on at the time.
Yeah.
So if they're involved in a car accident, I'm not going to ring you. I'm going to rush him off to our conventional vet.
Yeah.
If I need homeopathic worming treatments, heartworm, intestinal worm, have a flare-up with a skin condition, I'll be talking to you for titer testing, other things, off to my other vet. So, you know, everybody has a part to play, but I just think the body naturally knows what it's doing. It just needs some tweaking or intervention to stabilise it.
Oh, absolutely. You know, like, Jan's one of those people that really just gets the whole thing of healing, and she's absolutely right. You know, we've got amazing vets in this country, all throughout the world, of course, but we have amazing vets and amazing technology that allows us to keep our dogs free. You know, as Jan was saying, your dog gets hit by a car, you know, you're going to rush them to an emergency vet where they're going to give you the best care for that. But when it comes to more chronic problems, as Jan mentioned, the vets are not so set up to work with that unless they're more holistically minded, or unless you seek out somebody more along the lines of myself. It's a really, you then can give your dog a really good range of care, from that acute care as needed, but for chronic problems that pop up, you know, seeking out something more natural that's going to give you a more long-term and effective result. So Jan, tell me now, it's been 5 or 6 years, what have you been up to with Crosby? I hear you've been doing some things with Crosby.
Yes.
And by the way, where is he now? Can we call him
Crosby,
over?
Crosby,
Come here, my darling.
you've been very good. Usually
They're all very quiet. I
I
was actually expecting to be covered in golden retrievers, but here he is.
Turn around. Crosby,
Whoops, we're just knocking the camera there, my friend.
that tail of yours.
Yeah.
You want to sit down? Sit down. Thank you.
You just see him there.
We have been,
I might just turn that a little bit there, Jan.
because of his most beautiful nature, we have been doing a program called Story Dogs at a local school. And basically what it is just a supportive way of helping children develop a love of reading. Not everybody wants to stand up in class and read out loud if you just don't feel confident with reading. Of course, with a beautiful dog there curled up in your lap usually, all your worries go away. He is not going to judge that child and say, you got that word wrong, that's not great reading. And they're just in a relaxed atmosphere, and it's just a beautiful time to spend with children. And I also have the ability to just talk about Crosby's life, because everybody's interested in how old he is, what breed he is, why his teeth are in such a terrible state. And it allows me to give a little bit of a glimpse into Crosby's previous life, and that things can be going wrong even in their life, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Things can turn around and you can end up having a very happy life. It may not be happy at the moment, but things can change. And so he is really adored at school, and I've been asked numerous times, can they take him home?
I've been looking forward to this, getting to pat him again.
And also, why don't we bring our other dogs? Well, we don't take our other dogs because the other 3 would absolutely hate it.
Oh.
And, you know, I've heard Jenny talk about this many times. Let dogs be who they are.
Yeah,
and
choices.
yes, they would probably sit in the room because I'm there, and they'll do what I want them to do, but their little faces would not be happy and they would not enjoy the experience. Whereas he regularly just jumps in the beanbag and then looks at us as if to say, find a spot for yourself and let's begin this reading. So he is just, he's just meant for
Just suits him.
meant for the job. So I'm so happy that I can bring that aspect to his life and further enrich his life. And the day he doesn't want to do it will be the day we don't do story dogs anymore, because it's all about what he gives him pleasure and happiness. Yeah.
And I think, you know, Crosby's been on such a journey. He's been from a place where he was so unloved and neglected to a place where he's living the dream. And you can probably see behind me, guys, this beautiful, Jan lives in a hinterland part of Caboolture here in Queensland, and I'm looking out over her property with beautiful palm trees, and it's very serene, lots of birds around, and the dogs are living a beautiful life here in the care of a beautiful family. So it brings a lot of joy for me to follow through in this story, knowing that I was a little bit of a part of that, helping him heal, but really more than that, for him to come into the care of such an amazing owner and to really be a part of this doggy family that she shares here. So thank you so much, Jan, for letting me come into your home again and visit your babies. I used to come here when I used to do mobile visits. I used to come and treat these dogs from home, but I don't do mobile visits now, so I haven't seen Jan for a while.
No, but you've made them too well.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yes, that's right.
I'm obsolete. But
never.
Yeah, no, she's always been one of my most avid supporters, which has meant a lot doing this work. So thanks again, Jan, for letting me share this time with you and for your babies. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment or share this post and subscribe to my channel for more updates. And I will catch up with you next week for another video. But until then, we'll all say goodbye here from Caboolture and have a great day. Bye for now.
Bye.